In this video, I'm going to alert you to a trend that is set to explode in popularity over the upcoming week. I'm going to show you how I came to this conclusion, what tools I used to gather data to make me feel like this is worth doing a YouTube video about. I'm going to show you all of that. Then I'm going to show you how I created a unique design in this niche that can sell, and show you how I am uploading it and making it available for sale on Etsy with automated fulfillment and great profit margins. All of this is going to be covered in this video, so let's get started. So the trend I wanted to alert you guys to is Hispanic Heritage Month. This is starting on September 15th and lasts through October 15th. Here I am on the free Google Trends. You can access it at google.com/trends. It is a great way to analyze on a relative basis interest in search terms. Obviously, our search terms are Hispanic Heritage Month. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the time frame. The default view appears to be in the past day. I'm going to set it to the past 5 years. Now check this out. This is what I wanted to show you. I'm going to move myself just a little bit in the video. Look at the increase in interest year over year over year over year over the past 5 years. Notice last year was the biggest year that we have over the last 5 years. Now you can actually go back further in time, but I mean, the more recent the data, the better it probably is. So this year, if you follow that trend, could even exceed 2022. If that's the case, you're going to see even more demand for Hispanic Heritage Month products. We need to get out ahead of this trend, all right? That being said, I want to also further validate the trend, so I'm jumping over to Etsy, which, by the way, if you're not selling on Etsy, they get hundreds of millions of monthly visits. I would highly recommend selling on Etsy. I'm going to go into the search bar and I'm just going to type in Hispanic Heritage Month. How about shirt? Now that we see the search results here, and you can see Etsy says there's about 1,956 results with ads. You can see that they show that in the search results on the right-hand side. I'm also using Everbee, which has a suite of tools for Etsy sellers that want to be successful. So I would recommend checking out Everbee. It'll be linked in the description. I'm going to jump on over to the left-hand side. Now this is after I performed the search, and I'm going to click Product Analytics. It's going to look at the data for each of the search results on page 1 after we performed the search for Hispanic Heritage Month shirt on Etsy. Now I recommend clicking the monthly sales column header. This way, we get to see the products with the most sales. This is a nice way to just see how many sales can we expect to make in the best case scenario, and obviously in the worst case scenario, right? Zero sales. We already knew that. So I noticed this #1 bestseller up here. If we want to take a closer look at that, #1, you can click and actually view. Let me just show you. You can view things like the tags over here on the right-hand side. What tags did they use? What tags are they ranking on? How much competition do those tags have? And you can actually click up here at the top, view on Etsy, and you can actually see more about this listing, study the design, etc. One thing I wanted to show you is we can click the shop and actually analyze the whole shop. Do they have other Hispanic Heritage Month shirts that we should know about? Well, same thing in Everbee. Go ahead and click Product Analytics. Now, I would suggest clicking Analyze All Listings. Now it's going to have to take a look at, in this case, I think it was a couple thousand listings. So let's take a second and let it process them. Now it processed 1,923 listings. That was actually faster than I expected. The last thing I wanted to show you guys is that it is showing us the data from all of those listings, but we can go ahead and click Filters, and we can say something like product name, make sure it includes the word, it could be like Hispanic, or it could be Spanish, whoops, I typoed it, etc. And then it'll filter out products that don't include that word. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you guys is how I created this design. I jumped on over to Creative Fabrica. They have a ton of graphic assets, etc. that are really nice when it comes to designing a high-end print-on-demand product. I will drop my link to Creative Fabrica in case you're not already using it. I know most of you guys are, so that you can get the best rate. You can join for as low as $4.99 a month if you use my link. So I went ahead and downloaded this graphic, but I like to make things my own. So what I did is I actually loaded it up into Photoshop here. Let me full screen it and let me move myself out of the way a little bit. And this is what it looks like just using it as is. However, I typically like to optimize my shirts and my apparel products For more of a vertical orientation, not that there's anything wrong with using it like this, by the way. So I came over here and I just performed a simple rotate and a flip. Okay, so I rotated it and then I flipped it vertically and then flipped it horizontally. And this is what I got. I actually like this because it uses more of the design space on an apparel product. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how we will actually frame this and create mockups and have automated fulfillment on an apparel product in just a second. But I also wanted to show you that I made a second version where I actually removed the text that you see there and did vertical text in Photoshop. If you guys didn't know how to do that, you can actually just use the text tool. Now, we normally are using the horizontal text tool, but if you actually just long click on the text tool on the left-hand side, you can click vertical type tool, and it makes it very easy to do what you see I did right here. The next step is I'm going to jump on over to Printify. They have a network of printers around the world so that we can fulfill orders regardless of where the customer lives with ease and get extremely competitive pricing, often the best pricing available in the industry. If you're not already using Printify, use my link in the description and use code Ryan when you sign up to get a free month of Printify Premium. So now I am logged into Printify as you see here. What I'm going to do is on the left-hand side, I'm going to click Catalog. And now I get to decide what piece of apparel do I want to sell this design on. I mentioned Hispanic Heritage Month lasts through mid-October. I don't know about you guys, but it's starting to get a little bit colder here in Northern Virginia. So I'm going to go ahead and click men's clothing. And you can click men's or women's. I typically list on unisex products. I want to show you my favorite current crew neck pullover sweatshirt. So we're already prepping for when the weather continues to get colder, unfortunately, because I love when the sun's out and it's nice and warm. I'm going to click sweatshirts. Now, the first product you see right here is the unisex heavy blend crew neck sweatshirt by Gildan. They call it the Gildan 18,000. Printify has an extremely competitive starting price at actually $10.60 if you're using Printify Premium. And again, you can get a month free just using code Ryan. That's linked in the description. So I'm going to click that. That is, and if you've never tried this, they're actually very comfortable to wear. Marielle just ordered us a couple of them. I'm not even kidding. Right before I recorded this video, she said, I made us our Christmas photo sweatshirts, and they were on the Gildan 18,000. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and click this. So I'm not just telling you to sell it. Actually, we buy them ourselves. And then after you select the product, guys, you can go ahead and hit start designing, or if you want to just look into the providers, you can click the show additional providers as well. Okay, when you actually publish this to your store, you're going to get the opportunity to select your print provider because again, Printify aggregates a network of providers. In this case, I think I'm going to go ahead and use SwiftPOD. You can see with Premium, it starts at about $10.86. You can also, if you care to, hit provider info and look further into it. You can see all the colors, all the sizes that they have available, in this case, small through 5XL. And they have the ability to print on the front, back, sleeve, and, well, left and right sleeve. But I'm going to hit start designing. And since we already made our design, and this is a pretty standard approach for most people watching, you may or may not be, a beginner or intermediate, but until you're expert level, it is, in my personal opinion, probably in your best interest to keep it simple, print on the front of the sweatshirt, and then move on, right? Like, worry about, creating another design in this niche or perfecting your mockups, perfecting your SEO. I wouldn't spend too long as a beginner or even intermediate on worrying about printing on sleeves, etc. That's just my personal thoughts. So next, I'm going to go ahead and click add design from my device and upload the design that we just made. And as you can see here, it just placed the design on the left-hand side. However, we optimized our design for a dark background. So the default color of white is not going to work for us, but that's okay. At the top of the screen, just click where it says colors, click select, uncheck. Well, you can't uncheck white. You got to select another color first. So I'm going to select black first. I'm going to uncheck white. And now I have the opportunity, if I want to offer this in additional colors, I can go ahead and do that with as many as I see fit. When I'm ready to move on, I can go ahead and hit save product. My body's actually blocking it, but you can see it over here. Whoops. Click save product in the bottom right-hand corner. And now it's time to do our search engine optimization. You can also select which mockup you would like to be presented as your primary mockup. You can see it gives a flat mockup by default. You can actually click. You can see a zoomed in version of what this mockup will look like. You also have the option of using people wearing the mockups. However, my recommendation is if this niche that you're selling in is not slanted heavily towards one gender versus the other, I would use the flat mockup, which are, in my mind, truly unisex, okay? So next up, we get to go down to our product description. One quick tip is if there's text in the design, you typically want to, at a very minimum, include the text in the design in your title, okay? And front load your title with the most important keywords. So a great start to an SEO optimized title might be something like Hispanic Heritage Month sweatshirt, or you could even say just Hispanic Heritage sweatshirt. One quick tip is going back to the very beginning of the video with Google Trends. If we don't know whether to prioritize Hispanic Heritage Month versus Hispanic Heritage, you can actually just compare the two and get a little bit of an insight into the relative interest to each other. However, this one is extremely, extremely close. Like, I don't know if you can just barely see it. It looks like there is a little separation. It looks like, generally speaking, when someone searches for Hispanic Heritage, they're looking for Hispanic Heritage Month. You can see that Hispanic Heritage, though, did edge out Hispanic Heritage Month. So perhaps we would reflect that in our title. You saw that I had Hispanic Heritage Month initially. Maybe we just delete that and start with Hispanic Heritage Sweatshirt. Not that we shouldn't then later on include somewhere Hispanic Heritage Month, you know, pullover sweatshirt, and you can go on and on. This isn't meant to be a video about Etsy search engine optimization, but I do recommend you use pretty much all of the available characters in your title. Of course, you also want to include the 13 tags that you get the option to fill out once you publish from Printify to Etsy. Last but not least, down here, you can set your pricing. They do price it for us automatically. I typically recommend charging around $30 as a baseline for this sweatshirt. Do not forget that Etsy also takes fees that we will not see reflected in these numbers when you see the profit column here. So I typically price around $30. The sizes like 2XL, 3XL, 4XL, 5XL, I will also increase a little bit more to offset the fact that our print provider is going to cost us or charge us a little bit more for those. And before you know it, guys, it's published to Etsy. I do like to add my own additional mockups, maybe even a video. For that, you can use Placeit. They have just a ton of different mockups. You can see some pretty out there ones too as well. In this case, I searched for Hispanic to see if we could find, you know, models that are going to wear our shirt that fit the theme. I thought this one was nice. You can see it's also a sweatshirt. We could perhaps use that as one of our mockups, and of course, video mockups as well. So I was able to find the same person. You can see over my shoulder right here, the same person from our static image mockup, but we could upload our design there and get a video mockup version as well. So all of these things together, guys, are how you can run a successful Etsy print-on-demand business. I will link to everything in the description. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe if you're not already. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new video.